And interesting what you make of that one. Obviously, a topsy-turvy game. You guys got out to that 35-point lead and then gave it up. Pretty tough to take.
Yeah, it's a tough one to swallow at the moment. We had our chances. We were obviously the start of the game was on our terms, but we were well beaten in the contest tonight. Well beaten in the contest, and then when conditions changed, it became a little slipperier. The game changed. They adjusted far quicker than we did to those conditions, so that put us on the back foot, and momentum changed. And in the end, I thought the effort to get ourselves back in the game and get ourselves, I think we got our noses in front again in that second half after a really poor period. That was a positive, but that was probably about the only one tonight. In the end, we were well beaten in the area that says if you don't win that contest, then you're in trouble.
You had a chance, 9 points down, and Bailey Humphries gets sent to the goal square after that 50-metre penalty. Controversial one. What did you make of it, Chase Jones?
I remember it. We were organising things on the bench, so it's a hard one. From where I sit, I can't comment. I probably wouldn't comment anyway.
Is it your understanding that the umpire has to call the player back before the call's being made for 50 metres? As far as the rules go, it's one that I'm going to have to go back and have a look at. My understanding is that the umpire normally gives the player a little bit of time in that, but there is if you arrive to that contest late and you creep over the mark, then that's 50 metres. So, in this case, I can't comment on this particular one because live it's hard for you to get a gauge on where the mark is, but it might have been the right decision. And contested ball, they seem to get on top in that part of the game. Was that the one thing that was quite frustrating and that turnaround?
That was the most frustrating thing for the night, yeah. And credit to the Gold Coast. They dominated us in that area through periods of the game. I thought, unfortunately tonight we had too many players that just didn't impact consistently enough. Right across the board, we were inconsistent in the way we played tonight. They were consistent in the way they went about it. After that first quarter, they were happy to crash in and play a really sort of one-sided game against us, and we just took far too long to adjust to that. And in the end, that was the difference.
And away from home, you guys have played 5 games away from home. You've lost 4 now early, and the one came against Hawthorn by 3 points. Yeah, what do you say to that? What's been the issue on the road?
Yeah, we've got to be better. We know that. It's something that is front of mind for us. It was front of mind pre-playing this game, so we'll go back and have another look at it. But we understand we've just got to be better when it comes to our away games.
How much of the game up in Darwin come down to acclimatising to Darwin weather?
Well, the weather was quite nice tonight. I mean, there's no complaints. We played round 1. We played in some humidity in Sydney that made this one look quite tame. It's a different condition to what we have been playing in over the last month, but I thought as we showed, we adjusted well early. It probably got slippery, or it definitely got slippery as the game went on. We played in similar conditions last week against Brisbane. It was a wet game, and so we had a pretty good lead in. There's no excuse there when it comes to the conditions.
You must have been disappointed after half time. Suns kicked 9 in a row from the start from midway through the second to the end, to midway through the third. You could have had a chance at half time there to work it out and stop it. So you must have been disappointed the way the Suns just came out after half time and just kept going with their run of goals.
Yeah, that was probably the most disappointing thing. Sitting in the rooms post game was that run that they went on. Post half time, we got a lot of things wrong during that period. Where I think they dominated us at centre bounce for a number of that where we were put on the back foot. But combining that with just some of our contest that wasn't at the level, it put us under so much pressure for the game. As I mentioned, we. For a run of goals like we saw there, whether it's 8 or 9 goals in a row, for us to then bring it back and still find the front again is something that, we'll take away from this game. But other than that, we're going to have a really good look at this one and find out, where we could have been better. And I think it'll be quite glaring, and it'll be ground ball contest. The ability to fight, in the conditions and know that the game wasn't going to be necessarily wide open and out in open space.
So the ball was on the ground. You said that in the lead up to the game it would be on the ground. That sort of type of game, that those conditions, wet conditions. But Taylor Walker, for a big man, he played pretty well. 3 goals, 33. He's not really showing any sign of age.
Yeah, look, I think there were guys at times that impacted tonight, just not for long enough. Tex was one of those that had moments. We all had moments. Unfortunately, that's not going to get us the win at this point. We need a lot more consistency than that.
How's Tom? Obviously, he went off early.
Yeah, he'll obviously have some scans from here. So we don't know a lot at this point, but we'll just remain optimistic. We want to stay positive with that, and hopefully we get a good result from those scans around his knee.
Yeah, so just waiting on that. Have you got any initial indication?
Well, as I said, we're remaining positive, staying positive with that, and we'll keep our fingers crossed for him.
Did that have an effect on the game, losing him early?
Of course, losing a leader down back has an effect on the game, and it takes away your ability to inject some speed later in the game with your sub. But
and Ned doesn't play as a backman as well, so
yeah, and we've got things in place for that. So we can adjust our side. We've had that right throughout the year, where we've got players that can play sort of midfield and behind the ball. So that wasn't really an issue. But yeah, to lose a leader like Tom, from our back line does challenge us a little. In saying that, the guys stood up in periods, just not for long enough.
Is this going to be used as a real lesson for you guys? And, this can't happen again if you're going to try and play finals and really have good success.
Yeah, as I mentioned before, we've got to be better on the road. Our performances at home at the moment are at the level, and unfortunately we're dropping off when it comes to away games.
Keys had a good game, I thought. What did you make of his performance?
Yeah, Keys had a job early with Rao, and I thought he was really strong for us. I thought he was solid. When you talk about guys who can sort of walk off the end of the game and hold their head up and say, well, my role was this, and it was a really tough job for him. I thought he did really well. Showed signs too. He quite enjoys that scrap and where the game went, and I thought he came right into the game in that second half.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate your time. Thank you.